Hey everybody, John Skiba here from the Arizona Consumer Law Group, and I wanted to do a follow-up video to the video I did about a week ago, where I was talking about, if you have to prioritize debts that are going to be paid during this time when we're still dealing with the coronavirus, COVID-19, if that's resulted in you having a reduction of hours or a reduction in pay or even job loss. In that prior video, which I recommend you go back and watch, I discuss really how to prioritize your debts and your bills and how you should be paying them. What I wanted to discuss in this video is what if things, are already pretty tight and they've gone from bad to worse. I've talked to a number of people over the last week where they were kind of teetering on the edge. They were able to make monthly minimums, or they had already been even sued by a creditor, but they thought they might be able to resolve it. And now they're looking more at a bankruptcy type scenario. So I wanted to discuss what a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is like. I'm going to be discussing it specifically how it is in the state of Arizona, which is where I practice law. I can only represent people in the state of Arizona. That being said, bankruptcy is a federal statute, and it's pretty uniform across the board. There are some different, procedures in different states and different districts, but in general, the underlying issues tend to be the same. So in this video, I'll talk about what the Chapter 7 process is like in the state of Arizona, what it can and what it can't do. And then I'm going to talk about attorney's fees, because a big question I always get is, I'm struggling already. How in the world am I going to pay legal fees on top of this to get the relief I can get from a bankruptcy filing? And so we're going to talk about that in detail, at least as it applies to my office here in the state of Arizona. So I'm only going to be talking about Chapter 7 bankruptcy. There is Chapter 13, Chapter 11. Most people that file bankruptcy file a Chapter 7, and it's particularly suited for people who are trying to deal with unsecured debts, things like credit cards, medical bills, personal loans, basically any type of debt that doesn't have collateral or property attached to it is generally a good candidate for a Chapter 7 filing because it eliminates those debts almost completely. Couple exceptions are student loans and most taxes, child support, those types of debts. But all the other stuff is wiped out completely. Now, secured debts in a Chapter 7 filing, things like mortgage loans, car loans, those generally you can keep the car, you can keep the house, but you need to continue to make the monthly payment on it. If you don't make the payment, then they can come in and foreclose on the home, or they can repossess the vehicle. So if you want to keep those things, it's important that you keep those payments current. You'll also, if you go through a Chapter 7 process, the debt doesn't go away if you keep it. You don't get a free car, free house out of this. You have to continue to make the monthly payment on it. The flip side of that is sometimes I have people come in and they say, hey, I'm in this car. It's a 7-year note. My car payment's almost $1,000 a month. I got to get out of it. If you file Chapter 7, you can actually surrender the vehicle through the bankruptcy, and then you won't owe anything on it going forward. You're giving up the car, but you're not going to owe any debt. They can't come after you later, sue you, anything like that. Now, in Arizona, the Chapter 7 process takes about 4 to 5 months. But as soon as we file that case with the court will put an order in place that stops all collections. This order is called the automatic stay. It stops repossession, stops foreclosure, it stops phone calls, snotty letters, all those things stop completely as soon as we file your case with the court. When we file it with the court, there's a ton of paperwork. It's literally 70 to 80, sometimes even 90 pages of information on you. We have to disclose information, obviously, on your debts, assets, your income, your monthly expenses, financial transactions that have occurred over the last couple of years. There's a lot of information, so you have to work with your attorney in a fairly quick manner to gather all this information together. Here at my office, me and my staff will work with you to get all that information. We draft the documents, and then we will sit down. Now we're sitting down virtually and going page by page over the entire thing to make sure that we've got the information correct. There will be one time when you have to meet with a bankruptcy trustee. This happens usually, in most cases, it happens about 4 to 5 weeks after the case is filed. In this new world that we're living in with coronavirus, it may be longer. Lately, they've continued out all the hearings that were currently set. There's word that they may be handled telephonically going down the road, but usually there's just that one time when you have to appear before a bankruptcy trustee. The meeting is very brief. They put you under oath. They check your photo ID, your social security card. They're going to ask you a series of questions about how long you've lived in the state of Arizona, if you reviewed the documents that were submitted in your bankruptcy case, and they're going to ask you if the information you've submitted to the court is accurate. After that, there's a credit counseling class that you have to take online. It's not a big deal. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half. It's just some information to help you in making financial decisions moving forward. But you have to do the class because they give you a certificate that we have to submit to the court. And then shortly after that, they'll discharge your case. And that discharge order is the order you want because that's what tells your creditors that the debt is legally gone. They can no longer legally try to collect on it. It's been discharged in your bankruptcy. So that whole process from the day that we file it until it's actually discharged takes roughly 4 to 5 months. Um, let's talk about legal fees as far as how that works. Because, like I said, there's always the question of, hey, if I'm broke right now, how in the world am I going to have an attorney help me out with this? And before I even get to the fees, I should tell you that, and obviously I'm biased here, but I think that you should hire an attorney, even if it's not me, to help you with your bankruptcy case. It's not just filling out forms. It can be very complicated and it can cause a lot of problems if it's not done correctly. So, how we do the legal fees in my office, we can either do a payment plan or you can pay the legal fees up front. If we do the payment plan, we don't require any money up front. We'll file the initial part of your case, and then the balance is paid out in 12 equal installments. Otherwise, you have to pay the full legal fee plus the court's filing fee up front. If you do that, we do discount the price, but that's how that works. There's a fee that's due up front, or you can do monthly payments over time. And frankly, a lot of people do the payment plan just because it's a lot easier. It is a little bit more expensive, but at the same point, you don't have to come up with a bunch of money when you're in a tight spot. If you want specifics as far as what we charge for that, feel free to reach out to me. You can go to my website, consumerwarrior.com. We have a page there where you can schedule a consultation and we can go over the specifics as far as what the total cost is for you to be able to do that. So, like I said, we're kind of dealing with a crazy time right now. I know there's a lot of things going on. A lot of people are hurting in a lot of different ways. The financial part of this is really concerning because I know a lot of people already are feeling a lot of, just stress from from not being able to make payments, wondering if their job is secure, wondering if they're going to be able to maintain the level of income that they did. What I have found is if you understand what the process is and what your different options are, you're a lot better off. Some of that anxiety can go away because you're not up all night thinking of the worst case scenario. You know what your options are and you can make those decisions. So I offer free consultations for our bankruptcy clients. If you want to talk further about your specific situation and you live in the state of Arizona, I'm not licensed anywhere else, so I can only represent you if you live in the state of Arizona. If you want to just go over your situation, I'm happy to do it. I'm never high pressure on this kind of thing. Bankruptcy is too important of a decision for there to be some kind of salesmanship going on. I'll tell you all the information. I'm not here to hide the ball. We're going to tell you if it's a good option for you. And I can promise you this, if bankruptcy is not a good option, I will never force someone into it. There are consequences to it, obviously, but there's also a lot of benefit that you can get if your situation is pretty dire. So if you want to learn more or schedule a consultation, head on over to consumerwarrior.com. It's consumerwarrior.com, and I'd be happy to see how we can help you out. Thanks for watching today.